What damage has it already done in Iowa? I think it shows to some extent the contempt the Supreme Court has for the will of the people as enacted by the legislature. Now, it is the court's role to scrutinize laws, but for the court to go out on the limb and do what very few courts have done, and the majority have not done, I think shows that the people of Iowa are detached from those people in black robes who have made this decision. It also concerns me that there's been a separation of powers issue. We're supposed to have 3 equal branches of government, but the legislature's role of passing laws has now been usurped by the court, saying we know better. And on what basis? They test the political and sociological winds and determine now is the time to expand this notion of equal protection. And we think today it should include same-sex couples. So the damage there is we have a court that you have to wonder, what in the world are they going to do next? Now the good news is that you have in California and Iowa the right to retain justices that don't bring forth decisions that are consistent with the values of the people. Plus, you do have, in the 2010 ballot in Iowa, the opportunity to have a constitutional convention to fix some of these things. But as far as the damage to Iowa, well, I'll just give you a highlight here. If same-sex marriage continues, how do you know what's going to happen? Well, you can go to the first country that had same-sex marriage, which was the Netherlands. And in the Netherlands, once same-sex marriage was brought in, you've seen fewer marriages, more divorces, and fewer children being born outside of relationships that are recognized as marriage. And then you can look to states like, for example, Massachusetts, which was the first state in the United States to allow same-sex marriage. And in Massachusetts, what do you find? If you believe as a parent that your children should not be exposed to teachings about sexuality and homosexuality being on the same par as heterosexuality, tough luck, because that's the law of Massachusetts. That same-sex, opposite sex, it's the same for the state, so you can't even opt your children out in Massachusetts. In fact, a fellow was arrested by going to the school and protesting when his 5th grader came home with a diversity book bag that taught about same-sex relationships, and the parents had no idea. That is what will continue to happen unless this is turned around and marriage is redefined the way it was originally. So there are consequences. I'm not saying they're here right now, but that inevitably has to happen, and that would be one of the consequences that either is here now or it's on the way.